Welcome back to Fly the Coop, everyone. We want to talk about social media today. That's what everybody wants to talk about. And boy, do we have some exciting intelligence for you because we have been digging deep. Meet Addy Berling, my social media manager. Welcome, Addy, to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I am so impressed. This young lady is an old soul. Oh my gosh, have you been digging in deep on what is very much a multifaceted requirement in really any business model, in my opinion, Addy? And I think we're going to start with a 4-year degree, and you just graduating in the spring. You've been interning with us for 18 months and then joined on. Tell me, everything you're doing, Addy, did they teach you how to do what you're doing?
No, not necessarily. I think like when I decided to do marketing and like major in a marketing like place, they really only talk about the business side of it, which is obviously very helpful, but there is so many aspects to marketing. And like we said, social media is now one of the biggest platforms for marketing, and they don't teach you
editing.
They don't teach you like the platforms, and there's classes for it, but it's not a part of your major. So it's been a huge learning curve of just learning all about a different type of marketing.
Well, and it's not, when I say editing, I'm not saying literally just editing. Yeah. We've got Carter in the room here who's like, these two are equal. Yeah, he's a genius. Yeah, you are.
You are.
I just think it's fascinating because it's happened so quickly. And there is a requirement as a business owner out there to transform and grow into what is a multi-billion-dollar industry in navigating the how-to in being relevant, which is an ongoing moving target, it seems. So I'd like your perspective to what is a very young community doing this.
Yeah.
And tell me what you're managing right now, how you're doing it, and what you're finding in terms of the learning curve.
Yeah. So first of all, I manage all of your social platforms. So that's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Google, YouTube, all of that, which requires a lot of editing. So that's first off.
That's not how it started, though. That all happened really, really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I also manage all of the marketing pieces that we do. So any email campaigns, any campaigns in general, ads, and then as well as physical mailers or anything. And especially, I think that we should talk about this maybe later, but real estate marketing is also very different from any other marketing because we're not selling a product. We're selling, you know, your business. And then also on top of it, experience multiple products, if you want to say that. Yeah. So it's very different.
Changing all the time.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I mean, just understanding specifically the real estate market of the algorithm, that what people are looking for, because it's constantly changing. People don't want to just see, you know, houses that you're selling. They want to get, you know, the lifestyle piece, which is what we've really kind of focused on this past year.
Right. Well, and I think being true, so you bring a person in, you're a brand or building a brand, and remembering who you are. Yeah. Staying grounded in your why and not feeling badly or guilty or so focused and losing sight of what you're doing. I think that's my biggest takeaway in all of this, because it kind of can suck you in like this. I call it the vortex of social media,
but it's true.
And in the end, as we were evolving, it's like, I love this city. I love lifestyle. Yep. I'm an aesthetic person, as anyone following knows. I love design. I love building homes. I love helping people figure out what it is they want to live in and how they want to do that. So I think by mid-year this year, we got super clear on what we're doing. Yeah. And the slippery slope for Addy, and this is what I want you to talk about today, is the constant change. Yeah. And the freaking algorithm. The algorithm.
No, seriously, though. it's never ending.
It's never ending. So Addy, we've got an amazing marketing team with Edina Realty.
Yes.
Nick Kozel is just
Phenomenal.
incredible. And so we sit with him once a month and download, like we're getting pretty good traction on the watches, for instance, on our YouTube. But the subscribing piece of it is a slippery. Like we've been trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
If anybody has thoughts, please share. The Sprout contract we signed, tell them about
is
that.
awesome. It's a platform where it doesn't necessarily help you like grow your business in any way. They're not doing anything to specifically gain or do anything with your attraction from other people, but it's an analytics, basically. It's an analytics company.
She geeks out on this and it's like, blah, 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 blah.
I love it. I'm a numbers person. I like to see what works and what doesn't work. And so it's been awesome to see, and you can see your competition and, what works and what doesn't work and all that kind of stuff. And that's how my head works, is I can look at numbers and I can understand. So that's been really helpful. But the algorithm is absolutely
a moving target.
Yes.
It's a moving target. And I think speaking to those of you that are needing help in social media, it's a very dynamic role. And you've got to find somebody that fits what you're trying to accomplish. And you're able to work, like I'm learning every day. I am trying to figure out like, what am I doing every day? Addy and I meet every single morning. We're working like the weekend roundup we do, everyone, that you get on Saturdays if you subscribe to our newsletter. That is a whole week's of work every week.
Yeah.
Like we are working on that all week long.
Every day.
And I like what's happening with it.
Yeah.
It's very lifestyle fronted because we want to support the city and we love the city as an example.
Yep.
But that's something that's changing. Constantly every week. And we're coming up with new editing. We've got new video production happening. And then that comes back to us and that has to be re-edited and trended up. Yep. It's interesting. Like it's a full-time job. It's a full-time job.
And I think what we've kind of been discovering I would say since last year is how do we still do what we do, you and your business, do what you guys do, but like you said earlier, make it personal, because that's what people necessarily are looking for. People, you don't want a robot, you don't want somebody that's, and especially in real estate, I mean, that's a big deal for your guys' business is the personal connections and the relationships that you build. So my biggest thing is like when I'm managing your guys' stuff is how can we do what we're supposed to be doing and, sell the product, but also share, personalities and our team. I mean, our team has such a cool dynamic and I really want to showcase that. And it's interesting is like the stuff that we don't necessarily think is, the most professional or whatever, it does the best because that's what people like to see.
That's been a learning lesson for me for sure. Being vulnerable and putting yourself out there in a shall I say, crafted and curated way. And really, for me, it's been really showcasing because every team member is so cool. Like everyone's got such cool personalities and it's hard for agents to be consistent. Yeah. Consistency is a big one. So kind of poking a bit, Elizabeth, Steph, Nolan, Grant, Renee, everybody's got this really cool, different perspective in terms of what they love and what they want to share and really encouraging that. So that's been equally a part of the DNA of our, what I call the grind of social. You could easily, and we talk about this with Carter, you could just work 24/7 if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
There's no end. There is absolutely no end. So for us, in planning for 2025, we just really wanted to share what we're doing, simplifying.
Yeah.
We have a calendar, a content calendar, and we work with Asana.
Yep.
We try to be more and more religious, but we're moving so fast, and there's always the technicalities of sharing information and speed of what's happening in the moment and having a little spontaneity in it, but functionally starting each week with a content calendar and being mindful about the cost to do business. What are we providing and how are we editing it to get the best outcome for the least amount of time? Because everything has such a time suck to it.
Yep. No, yeah.
How do you do that?
Honestly, I really don't know. Like you said, it's just always spontaneous. You know, I can set and say, we're going to do this on this day and this on this day, but within this business as well, there's things that are constantly changing and you need to update, obviously, your market constantly with that. So I have things on my back burner all the time. If something changes, like we have something
like the last
constantly.
24 hours have changed.
Yeah. But I think understanding each thing that we're doing, the purpose behind it has really helped me. I remember when I first started this job, I was honestly, like a little scared because I didn't know what I was exactly doing. I tried my best, and
we learn as we grow.
Right.
That's what Steve and I always say.
But
you just kind of learn as you grow.
I've understood that now when it comes to planning or creating or editing, having a purpose behind it all and understanding what we're trying to have other people perceive is kind of keeps me grounded with it all because there's a purpose to everything. It's what is that purpose?
That's a great point, because what we're doing now is what's our objective here? So as an example, we're selling a property that's quite unique. We tend to do a lot of those. It's called Brentwood. And we spoke with the owners yesterday, and we're repackaging this product right now in a different way because we're really knocking on the door of the avatar is what we're calling it.
Yeah.
So in 24 hours, we had a conversation with the client. We rebuilt the copy campaign. Relisted it. Addy took all of the video content, tweaked it out so it's short because length isn't our friend, right? We all know that's speed, the need for speed for everybody.
Attention spans is gone.
So we got it down to 60 seconds. She pulled out the voice of the owner, which we had in video, layered in the creme brulee, I call it, of visual to tell a story, rebranded. You go into AI, which we're using. That's one of our many processes, dumped it back into AI with the new copywriting that Kevin and I produced yesterday, back and forth. This is like 2 hours of work. And then retweaked all of the imagery in the MLS, rebuilt the write-up in YouTube, which is a whole process. Just to put an ad in, so we're working with Google Ads. How much time does it take to do a Google ad, as an example?
I would say like 30 minutes to an hour if you're being, effective with what you're doing. Because you can just throw an ad together quickly, but if you want to do it the right way and get the best outcome of it, probably 30 minutes to an hour.
So on Mondays, no later than Tuesdays, we commit to what are we running ads on that week. So Google is the leader, and then it goes to YouTube somehow, which is out of my bandwidth.
Everything is very step by step through everything that we do. It starts somewhere, it's done, edited, everything's finished, but then it's getting it out to everybody is a step by step play that I've now kind of gained a rhythm with, so I can do it pretty quickly now. When I started, I was like, I was everywhere, but
it's like dominoes.
Yes, exactly. So it goes to YouTube and then the social platforms and then the website design and the ads. And, there's a step-by-step process through everything that we're doing, but.
And the backlinking.
Yeah, that's another thing.
And the blog.
Like there's so much, but once you get what you are trying to put out there, it's not difficult. It's just, it takes time to do it all. But again, like I said, that's just exactly how my brain works, like numbers and seeing it all visually. If I can have check marks of every little thing, then I'm like, okay, I got it. So.
But it can be a lot. Like yesterday, it's like, do we got this? Because we're moving so fast. We have 2 different videographers we work with. We lean into Carter when we're needing editing help. Carter has been handling the podcast management piece, which Addy is taking over in 2025 because Carter landed himself this awesome job. And he's traveling internationally now. So, and trying to go finish school, which is a whole other conversation that we'll have to have with Carter in December. We're super excited for him, and we're super grateful because we're able to pick up the phone and get answers and get help. So Carter, that's great. And Tammy obviously is incredible.
Amazing.
She puts out this amazing visual experience. So part of content building is visuals, right? And that's you don't want to see the same thing over and over and over again. So every January we rebook a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And in that photo shoot, we have Carter come to do the video piece of it so we can dip into that throughout the year. It's a process.
It's a lot.
This is not how my life was, even 5 years ago. And it certainly wasn't before that. Like, we didn't do any of this. I used to, like, there was a time when I got into this business that I alone could run 20 listings at a time, go in, freshen, and do my own little light staging, which I did, and help them with each home, do the edit. Like, there was none of this was going on. It's just the amount, the way we're shuffling how we use our 24 hours has changed. So going back to the 2025 planning, we're really trying to streamline and deep dive and audit what's working, what isn't working, leaning into sprouts, and eliminating. Our goal is gaining back time in 2025. Do you have any idea how we're going to do that, Addy?
No, not at the moment. It's funny, we just talked and we were like, so what can we eliminate? And then we both sat there for a second and we're like, and we came up with a few things, but
there's a few things we are taking off the docket. We've got we know what we want to pitch here in both the Twin Cities, Minnesota and Florida. And we've got great video production. So we're going to really hone into that and eliminate all the extraneous stuff.
Right.
Because we do feel like the editing work that is happening in-house is so well done. And we get the exact outcome we want on that. And we're collaborating with our local DNA, which is what counts. And then with the leg of extension, I'll call it, the lines we have nationally with all of our relocation work we're doing, Tom Ferry and those relationships over the last 10 years. There's an organic. I'm all about the organic. I love that. I feel like for all of the work that you do as a realtor and that running in the trenches, I call it, those relationships you have, being mindful of referrals and commission dollars, if you will, that people are dipping into with really very little skin in the game. They're really not a participant in any of the DNA of the workflow. It's being mindful of those dipping intrusions, I'll call them, and really controlling your outcome. Like, this is what I'm trying to share, and how do we fine tune this? So Addy, do you study social every morning? Really?
Yeah. Honest, every morning. And it's also like besides even work, my generation, we've been on social media for forever. So that's a part of, constantly, I feel like we're always on social media. So it's not hard to understand what people are looking for and what is out there. It's, like I said earlier, personalizing it and making it your own and dipping off of other people's ideas. I mean, you can do everything that you want to do, but I never see anything wrong with, taking an idea from somebody else and making it your own. I think that's what's special about it, is sharing. And that's exactly what it's all for.
I feel like even this year, I don't know if you feel like this in the audience, but I even feel like in 2024, the speed of change, like the DNA of the what's trending, this whole trending thing. It's like a race car. It's insane to me.
And you have this much time to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because a trend can happen, and then if you miss it and you do it a few weeks later, it's done,
Carter, you and I were talking about this. We feel like it's going to slow. Like, I think it's like social media exhaustion.
I do too.
Don't you get tired? Just curious out there.
And it's crazy, like when you said before that this wasn't a thing, you know, back then is same thing like what I was talking about with me in school. Like they don't teach you, and obviously there's many different branches of marketing. So digital marketing is now really common, but every business owner, every business needs it. And so it's interesting that they don't teach you, but it's like also how would they teach you? Because it's such a self-learning, you kind of just have to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. We were just doing this. Yeah. Editing. We'll go back to editing. Yeah. It's crazy. Like that is a whole skill set of its own right. Yeah. And I think a lot of people know once they get into this work that you're doing now, they go into a state of exhaustion really quickly. I mean, just a forewarning, if you're thinking you're going into social media, it's not just putting a reel together on Instagram. That is the tiniest piece of the workflow. Tiniest.
I always say, like, I got my degree in marketing and I should have also gotten my degree in like videography or, you know, something within that, because that's what it goes hand in hand in a way of what I'm doing.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's like combining two majors together.
Carter was just editing an image for us, and this is before we jumped on. He's like, oh my God, it's like figuring out which of the 100 tools you use to properly get this shadow out of the way. It is a lot. I say it gives me anxiety just watching you do it. Yeah. So there's something like, I really don't want it to be that way. So it's like, what are the techniques? What are the apps? I was just doing my P&L, by the way. You don't even want to know how many line items are on there for social media marketing and all of our apps. There are so many. So in the month of December, management team, we're going to go through each one. I'm like, are we using this or are we not using this? Because we keep saying, oh, we need this. Oh, we need this. And then all of a sudden it gets translated out and it's not necessary because something newer and better came up. Right. And that can happen within weeks. Yeah. Oh, one day this is the best app, and now 2 weeks later, oh nope, we're going to use this one now. By the end of the year, you got 20 apps in your phone. That alone would be an example of getting your time back. So we just came off of the Tom Ferry retreat, and we do a team meeting every Monday. Yep. And I'm so mad at myself. We'll put the link down below. I forgot his name now, but it's all about time. Spending those few hours now to save you so much time in your future. Yeah. So religiously committed to that messaging over the next 50 days as we're getting the team ready for 2025, eliminating all of the excess. Yeah. Yep. That is my mission right now, because it's too much. Yeah. It's just too much. It makes me tired, my brain, every morning. I'm like, oh my gosh. It is. It's too much.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's fun. It's exciting.
It's fun and exciting, but it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that one of the takeaways right now for all of you that are independent or building small, and this doesn't even apply to just real estate. It applies to any business model. Really think about what it is that you're trying to put out there. Find somebody that has the skill set and protect your time and collaborate with that team every day to make sure you're filling your short-term and long-term goal, and understand it's fluid. It's never done. Like, you can't ever just check that box, which I love doing, but it's just not going to happen. You got to be fluid and be willing to learn and change and grow and, say, oh, this is not going to work. We're going to do this differently. Right. How many times have we done that this year?
Many. I just think, finding like your purpose, like understanding what your purpose is like the main takeaway. I feel like after this past quarter, especially, there's so much noise and so much going on, and it's so fast where it's like when we are trying to do or post something or get something out there for people to see, is understanding what the purpose is and why we're doing it. Yeah.
Agree.
is where I keep myself grounded.
Yeah, I guess one of the things I wish is every platform has its purpose. And I think we've got it down to where we know.
Yeah.
Each of those platforms requires a different editing position. How do you explain that? Like it all requires its own.
It's just different demographics for each platform
But
too.
even
That
how it
plays.
even how it receives the social.
Yeah.
In order to use it.
Yep.
That's a learning curve as well. Like we know that an Instagram post isn't going to be the same post as a LinkedIn or a Facebook post.
Yeah.
How we download that information or what we use there does differently within each platform.
Yeah.
So really, I call it reverse engineering. Let's be clear. How many minutes does it take to produce this widget, this thing? And how many hours in a week do you want to spend getting the message across for the 15 messages you have to plan out?
Right.
And then what messages don't get put out right now that are not necessary?
Yeah.
That's really the secret sauce, I think.
Yeah.
She's only 21 years old.
22.
Oh, that's right. You had a birthday.
Yeah.
22 years old. That's young.
Yeah.
That's a lot to remember and learn.
But it's so good. Like, I'm so beyond grateful to have this opportunity and like working with you and working with the team. And because there's so many people my age that still have been looking for jobs since we've graduated and have not found anything.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Well, I have thoughts on that, everyone. I feel like there is a opportunity for all of you out there, but you really need to spend the time. It's not going to come to you. You got to go find it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do think there's a little lack of grit out there. Don't give up so easy. There may be days or even weeks or months that go by that you're feeling like you're not getting to the objective or finding the right fit, but the fit does exist. And Carter would be a perfect example. He created it. You figure out what your passion is and you build a business around that, and your audience will come to you. They really will. So be creative. Don't think in the box, think outside the box, and really be committed to optimism, being positive, mindset, and put yourself out there and be vulnerable every single day, and you will find your fit. I think people can get lazy, right? I'm just saying, you're like, I'm not going to do this today. I want to go do whatever. You have to be, there's the word accountability to the schedule.
Yeah. I think also too, like something that I've learned from you and like your business is like every relationship or connection that you make is an opportunity. And that's like huge in finding jobs is you can meet somebody at the grocery store. Like you just don't ever know.
You don't know where you're going to meet people. And you got to put yourself in audiences where you're going to meet people.
Exactly.
You can't just stay home and watch TV or sit behind this thing all day long. That's not going to work. No. You got to physically, like I always say to the team, I'm all about that face-to-face, one-on-one conversation. There's so many opportunities in our city to meet people. You never know when you go out to a conference or a seminar or, maybe there's some type of company event that you decide to tag along with a friend. Any place where you can get in front of a group of people, you should be all about it if you're looking for a job right now.
Yeah. No, completely.
Carter, do you have anything to add to that? Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. So really what we wanted to talk with Addy about today is the social media role, what we're doing right now internally to grow into what is an ever-evolving and fast-paced business.
Right.
That if you're really serious about your business, I highly recommend you maybe hire one of Addy's friends.
We've done it.
Hire a person that will help you with it, because to do it well is a full-time job.
Yeah.
And then you just have to carve that out and figure out how to make that work in the DNA, because you got to do what you're really good at, whatever that business model is for you. You need to focus on that and let somebody who's really good at this, go do this, and put a schedule and a content calendar together to do it.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
There's our social media little download for the month. We are going to be doing this at least a couple times a year. If you have any questions for Addy, feel free to message us. We're happy to answer those for you. We will plan to chat on this on the first quarter of 2025.
Yeah.
Thank you, Addy.
Yeah, thank you.
It's so fun to work with you.
I know.
And I am so
love it.
grateful for this one. I really am. And for you, Carter. I'm really lucky. So thank you for spending time with us today here on Fly the Coop. And please do click and subscribe. Addy would be so grateful.
Yes, please.
We're working so hard on social right now. We would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and give us, feedback, input, shares. Tell us what you love, what you don't like, and how we can help you.
Yeah. Interact.
Yeah. We'd love that. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
We will see you next time on Fly the Coop.